Hello, hello, and welcome to today's project for Spiegel Mom Scraps. I apologize, my voice is a little off today. So my project for you today is going to be my day in the life pictures. So I documented a day in the life with Allie Edwards on October 27th of last year. And about halfway through the day, it was like epic fail. So I really initially was not going to go ahead and scrapbook my photos for the day in the life, but this No Place Like Home collection from Wild Whisper Designs was too perfect. It went with my photos, and since that particular day we kind of stayed home all day, I decided to go ahead and just make two pocket pages of my photos. And I actually ended up adding a lot more journaling than I thought I would at the beginning, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So right now I'm trying to decide which photos I can trim down to make 3x4, which are going to stay 4x6. I printed them all at 4x6, but I want to keep my documentation of this day to just 2 pocket pages, front side and a back side. So I'm looking to see which ones I can go ahead and trim down. So like I said, my day in the life, I started off really good. I was posting pictures, and then sometime after dinner, I don't know what happened. It was just sometime after dinner, I just quit taking pictures. And then I remembered, like, at the end of the night when I was all curled up in bed. So I took one photo of me all curled up in bed with my fuzzy socks, but you'll see that on the second page. So now I'm just going through the card pack that came in the collection, which is 4x6 and 3x4 cards. If you watch my videos a lot, you know that one of my go-to things is to cut my Project Life cards all apart and make them into embellishments. So I'm going through the cards now, and what I'm doing is deciding, okay, which ones do I actually want to cut up and which ones do I want to use the way that they are. And I also went ahead and grabbed some of the other products from the Wild Whisper store, some sequins that are exclusive to the store that Spiegel Mom Scraps created, as well as a couple of other things. So these are thickers from my stash, and I'm going to use them. And I'm just going to put DITL for Day in the Life. And I am very, very sorry. The front side of this layout, my camera was cocked crooked and I didn't realize it until right at the end. So the front side of this layout is going to be a little bit odd, but and a little like half cut off, but the second side is really good. So I got it fixed for the second side. So all I did now was I fussy cut one of those black and white houses from the pattern paper. I actually pulled 2 pattern papers from the collection, but I really only ended up using that one house. And then I'm going to put the date and some splatters of Night Moves, which is a coloring by Shimmers. Now I'm taking some fussy cut pieces from the card, so I'm going to use that window that I fussy cut. And this card here with all the little teacups, I'm slowly but surely going to end up fussy cutting every teacup out of off that card practically, and using them on different cards throughout my spread. I'm just creating a little cluster here with the window, and because I like the idea of a window representing that this was a window into our day, and then we stayed at our house this entire day. This was really just a typical day where we worked on school, and dinner was in the crock pot, and kind of just our day. So we stayed in the house all day, which is part of the reason that it made this perfect. And so now I'm just going to take these sequins and I'm just going to pull out the blue ones. And by the end of this spread, I think I had picked through and used every blue sequin that are in the mix. Every one, and a couple copper ones too. So for this page, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a little bit from this card. I'm just cutting a little bit of the aqua from the top of this card to kind of create my own, almost like a label shape. And then I'm going to use it here to go ahead and write my journaling and put a couple of sequins around my journaling, and that will complete this card. Pretty easy. This 2-page spread did end up being a little bit photo heavy, which is really good because it didn't take me a very, very long time to do. So now I'm just attaching the sequins. So now this next card, this is one that I don't kind of cut apart or use, I'm just going to put my journaling in the little label the way that the card was meant to be used, and then I'm going to fussy cut one of these little teacups. And then I also went into my stash and I pulled some cork hearts from Spiegel Mom Scraps out. I keep my Spiegel Mom Scraps embellishments right beside me on my craft desk so I can easily grab when I feel like I need a little something extra, and I felt that way about this card. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull these confetti hearts into other cards as well to make them cohesive. And of course, adding more of those blue sequins. I really think that I don't have any more blue sequins in my Focus on You sequin mix. So now I'm just adding another one of those cut teacups to the top of that particular card, and adding a little bit of journaling to this card. This was a flower journaling card, and as you can see there, I left it exactly pretty much the way it was. I added a little blue bubble to the middle of the one flower, and now I'm adding some sequins. Oh, sorry about that. And of course, there's some more blue sequins. And then this is going to be my bottom 4x6 card. So I just wanted the lines. This is a 4x6 card I had already cut apart and used part of it in my first project using this collection, which was at the beginning of this month. And so I just cut off a little bit more of the journaling and added it to the side of the card. And then on this other side here, I'm going to add just a small cluster of embellishments with a wood veneer. The wood veneer is from the Wild Whisper store. So I'm going to add a wood veneer and another teacup, and I'm going to place those off in the corner. This was that big white area is the curtains beside my dining room table, and I just felt like it was like a huge expanse of white and perfect spot to go ahead and add some more embellishments. And then of course the cork hearts and some of the blue sequins. So this is going to be the last card for this side, and I'm going to take this yellow 3x4 card and just cut out the little label part, and I actually used the rest of that card, another part of that card on another card on the other side of the pocket page. Wow, say that 5 times fast. This little chipboard branch is also from the Wild Whisper shop, and I love this. This is my favorite card. So I'm going to put my journaling on this little yellow label that I cut apart. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this really delicate, super cute branch to the other side. So this card was just, you know, the leaves turning, what it was like outside. I'm just going to journal a little bit about what it was like outside. And then I pulled the copper sequins out of that same sequin mix, the Focus on You sequin mix. And I'm going to place it almost like, I'm going to place the little copper sequins like leaves all around the chipboard branch. And I just love how this turned out. So here is my pocket page, and I'm going to go ahead and slip all of the cards into their pockets, and then we can flip the card over. So I will mention this. I use Becky Higgins page protectors, so actual Project Life Becky Higgins Design A page protectors, and I had to trim all of my 3x4 cards. They were too wide or something. So I will kind of mention that if you do use the Becky Higgins Project Life Design A pockets, you might need to trim your 3x4 cards just a tiny, tiny bit. And that will complete the first side of this pocket page, but I wanted to do 2 sides so that they coordinated, and so I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to use the rest of my day in the life pictures to do the back side. So here are my photos, and now I'm just choosing my cards. That bottom photo with the red socks, I feel like there's no red anywhere. So I'm gonna add a little bit of red from my stash just so that those red socks in that page don't just scream and stand out too much. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take these 2 photos of my boys doing school, and I'm going to put kind of like subtitles or titles on the 2 cards with these red tile stickers from October Afternoon that were in my stash. And then for the school pages, I decided that instead of cork hearts, I'm going to do cork stars, because neither one of my kids really love school, but I feel like stars are a good icon to use for school. So I'm going to go ahead, so that first card, then the second one, I'm also going to add a red title to, and the same thing, some cork stars and some of the blue sequins. And I felt like at the end when you see everything together, having those red little titles on those two top cards, it really helps to make the photo with the red socks at the bottom feels like it kind of actually belongs there, or it goes there, and I like how those two turned out. So I'm going to work on the 3x4 cards. This one, I'm using some more tile stickers from October Afternoon just to add a little bit more of a title to this journaling card. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my journaling. Now, I want to use the card here that has a book on it because I feel like that really is a kind of a school icon, and I really like it. I really wanted to use it, but I'm already using the coffee cup that says curl up, and so I didn't want to use two cards that said curl up on one side of the spread. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the book out. And then I'm going to use it as a place to put a little embellishment cluster up in the corner of that photo of my son doing his algebra. And on that journaling card, I wrote about how my son is doing with math this year. So I'm just going to add that card, and the book's going to kind of go off the page. And I kind of think about maybe covering up the top of that card, but I didn't like how that looked either, so I decided on that and just kind of cutting off the side of the book. And I like how it turns out in the end. I kind of like it when embellishments go kind of off the photo or off the side of my Project Life cards. I'm not that way too much with layouts, but definitely with Project Life cards. Some more blue sequins. They're getting scarcer and scarcer. And so these last two cards, they're going to both be filler cards. Because like I said, after I took that picture of my son doing his algebra homework, like I stopped taking pictures. So I figured I would do some stamping on these two cards. And I'm just going to make a little banner. I grabbed some stamps from my stash that had all kinds of sayings about being home. And I thought that that was really good and useful for this page because we did stay home that whole day. You know, we didn't really go anywhere, and I felt like I would just do some stamping and let these cards kind of just be decorative. So what I'm doing here is, I will say everything was inked with Hickory Smoke Distress ink, in case you were wondering. It's a gray ink. And this one, what is on these stamps kind of escapes me right now. But I stamped them using the One Canoe 2 dye ink that came in the Hazelwood collection by American Crafts, and I really like this ink. It does stay wet for a bit, and it does need to dry, and I'm so sorry that my fuzzy head is in the way. I apologize. But, so one of those stamps says, it's a good day to stay home, and the other one says, this is home surrounded by love, and now I'm just going to add some of the same embellishments I've added throughout this layout. So I'm adding wood veneers and cork hearts and light blue sequins. And here I am putting these lovely sequins down on the cards, and that will finish those two cards off. So the last two at the bottom are both 4x6 cards. And this one needed very, very little in the way of explanation. It's my scrapbook stuff, because after the kids are done with school, it is time for me to create for a little bit before dinner. Some days. And some days there's no creative time. So if you're all kind of taking a big... That's okay, I understand. I was too lazy to get up and cut a piece of cardstock. White cardstock in 4x6. So I took this 4x6 card that had the blue fur on it, and I've already used a blue fur card on my project from earlier this month, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to cover it up. And I don't regret it, because you know what, I was just not feeling like getting up and cutting white cardstock. But I wanted both of these cards together on one 4x6. So really super simple embellishment, just a cork heart and some sequins, and this will be both sides of my layout here that I am showing you. And that will complete it. My day in the life is done. Woohoo! Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again with another video shortly. Bye!